Welcome to the Coffee Talk Podcast. This is intended for informational purposes only and not to be used as a primary basis for investment decisions. Consult your financial professional before making investment decisions. Shannon Ross is a registered representative and MBA of Lighthouse Financial. Lighthouse Financial offers securities and advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisories Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC. Shannon is CEO and managing financial partner of Lighthouse Financial. Cambridge and Lighthouse Financial are not affiliated. And now, here's your host, Shannon Ross.
Well, happy Thursday, everyone. We're back for another episode of
Happy Thursday.
Coffee Talk.
Yes, hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for joining.
Hey.
You're not dressed in black today, which I was
well,
expecting you to be. You have a lot of black on.
I have on
but
black
you are
shoes.
wearing my favorite hat, which is exciting. But why would you be dressed in black today as we open the show on a sad note?
Because if you tuned in, Alabama lost the national championship.
And you had two big losses.
Oh my God, you really want to rub this in. Okay.
Well, the football gods were not very kind to you this week.
So Sunday, I was in the Super Bowl in my fantasy league, and I've never been in this Super Bowl
before.
Made it to the championship.
And there's a lot of money on the line in our work league.
Yeah.
I mean, it's legit. And bragging rights. And
bragging rights, and I wanted them. And it was the theme of the week, so I lost to your husband, who has now won for the third time, which is so annoying.
I know.
Which is, I know how people feel about Alabama fans. So I lost $600. Sorry, was I not supposed to name the price? Does that matter? Okay, who cares?
It's a legit league.
It is. I like my $600.
There's a lot on the line.
So I lost that, and then the very next night, my Bama, who does get to the national championship quite often, lost.
Also got the L. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was a week of highs and lows. We started so high with the donkeys coming, which I wanted.
We did.
And then my birthday, and then we were excited for the championship, both for fantasy and football.
Because we have our traditions. We have our traditions.
We do.
So so you're right. So Friday started off amazing. Got my donkeys.
Half week really good, and the other half
celebrating your birthday. It was such a fun weekend. I got to see you every day.
We did.
I know.
We made up for our lack of time together over the holidays.
Had an amazing dinner. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I feel like that was just the Lord blessing me prior to the hammer on Sunday and Monday. But that's okay. There's another season, and the donkeys still continually bring me happiness.
Joy.
Oh my gosh, joy unspeakable.
They are so cute. They almost don't look real. They look like
they
look
little
fake. Robots.
Their little
donkeys.
legs are
they're so cute.
They're so adorable,
They're
and their little
adorable.
personalities are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But now donkeys have to earn your trust. And my husband and my son aren't down there as much.
You're their favorite,
all
and
the
you
time.
feed them every day.
All the time,
so.
yes. And I shovel their stuff. And so now, I mean, I walk outside, they walk up to me, I halter them, I lead them, they give me no troubles.
Cute.
And so we've made a lot of headway, because at first they were skittish around me, like, I don't know you, lady, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now they'll eat apples out of my hands, and they will love on me.
And we posted a picture of them on our
they're
Instagram
on the podcast Instagram
page this week, so you can check them out.
They
Pistol
are
and Pete.
cuter than the picture.
Your new babies.
Just, oh my gosh. So I continually have joy, even though in the midst of loss, which is why I wore my bad
A shirt.
Bad A shirt that you gave me.
I do.
Today.
I love that shirt.
Yes. So I wanted to incorporate some funny in my almost all black outfit.
I know.
It's fine.
You're
Next
still
year,
hanging in there. You're still here.
Hey, I'm still standing. I'm still standing with my donkeys.
Here.
I'm happy. I do need to report an injury.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Was it from the fantasy football game or the cheering on
that
top
might
of the
have
chair?
started it. There's a good point. So I am sitting in, my perch.
Yeah.
In my, what's today? Thursday? So this was Tuesday? I'm sitting there Tuesday morning on my perch, drinking my coffee, and I do the same thing every morning. And my husband's walking through the living room, and it's time to get up and start going. And so I'm pushing away my ottoman, because I pull it up to rest my tootsies on it while I study and read, and I'm pushing it away, and I yawn at the same time. And I look at my husband, I was like, oh, something just popped. Am I right? And ever since then, so it's better today, but I had to work from home yesterday. It hurt so bad.
Oh, your text was hilarious. She's like, you know how I pulled my shoulders? She's like, yawning. Grandma emoji.
Yeah, yawning. That's how I did it. It was so, it was one of those pains yesterday that I was got nauseated.
Oh,
that is how
that bad.
It's that bad.
Posterior labrum, April. I told her it was from all the barn work. That's
Well, I'm convinced that
it
maybe
was
I think what you're right.
weakened from them.
I'd already been working it a lot, right? Maybe it's a muscle I don't normally use. And then I had a very active Monday evening. We are not going to share those posts. We're not going to share those pictures on Instagram.
Watching April watch an Alabama championship game is the most entertaining thing I see all year. So I take pictures because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
I mean,
you two got to see a picture that nobody else
She puts a chair
will get
right
to
by
see.
the TV so that she can be literally as close as I am to the microphone.
Okay,
That's
we're not
how
supposed
close
to...
April needs to be to the TV to watch it. And then she stands on the chair all the time. Like, I'm afraid she's going to fall.
Okay, so to be fair to me, I stand up on the chair because if I stand in the then my husband's going to yell because I'm blocking other people.
Yes,
and I do get very rambunctious. I do.
You change your outfit several times.
I do.
Just in case.
Well, when they're not doing well, I change out of tights into sweats. I changed hats and tops. And I mean, because I'm not superstitious at all. But I am convinced.
You did everything you could to help them as much as you.
I was in the game.
Yes.
I'm always in the game. And I always tell Saban he can put me
mojo.
in. I'm and it wasn't enough. I failed my team. Really.
Well,
yeah.
There's always next year.
But they're
and they'll be there next year.
That was Monday, though. Maybe I triggered something. And then when I yawned Tuesday, pop. It's awesome. So we're a little tender this morning, but we're better. We're on the mend. I just needed to report my yawning injury.
Well, from our last show last week, we made a promise to our audience of what we would show them today. And that's what you didn't ask me. So I brought them.
We can wear them, I guess. That would have been better for my all-black outfit.
Well, it might hurt your shoulder to try to push a shirt on over your outfit.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that.
Let's see.
Because going over my head does hurt.
So last week, we had talked about the T-shirts that our husbands work out together.
And we've mentioned
every
this
morning
several times.
And they call each other their max partners because they max out
the weights, I guess. I don't know. We don't do that.
Each other, whatever.
Yeah.
So you can show yours and then I'll show mine.
Okay, so
April's husband got these made for my husband's birthday.
As a joke.
And they wear them now, which is hilarious.
Which is kind of weird about our husbands, and they're totally going to kill us for doing this, but we love them.
So we'll show these. So our listening audience, you'll have to tune into YouTube to see them. But this is David. So this is April's husband.
Yeah.
So that's the first max partner of the pair.
Yeah, that's the... He's got that up.
And then this is Justin, my husband, who's the second partner of the max. This one's softer. I know.
This is a piece of crud T-shirt.
This is what our husbands do, which is a little weird.
And we're so making fun of it. And he's kissing his bicep.
Yes, he is.
He's got a sick tattoo.
And I know. Yeah. He's just getting a new one this week. So. Yeah, so these are the Max Partner T-shirts that we
always talk about. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and the fact that they actually wear them. I mean, it was.
David,
they genuinely liked
them. The other night when we came over, which was hilarious. Should we put them on or no? We'll mess up our hair if we do.
Well,
we'll just keep them on
I can't. I have hat head, number one, and number two, my shoulder is still questionable. So let's not. They're gonna be. I'm gonna tell David he absolutely has to listen.
Well, we're
the
hoping that he will be a guest next week. That's what we're trying to accomplish. So we'll see. So tune in.
I hope so.
We should make him wear his shirt.
Justin and Shannon David and Shannon on a podcast together will be funny. So everybody should tune in just for that.
We're very similar in our personalities and how we go about things. So I think we argue a lot about our philosophies.
Which is, just like Justin and I have the same, what do you call them?
Picadillos. Oh, Lord, going out with those two.
See the confused face too?
We went out for my birthday. I'll share this quick story, and then we'll really get to the show. But they have this, they have to see the restaurant.
Can't have our backs.
They don't like their backs to it. So they're both like that. So I had to pick, who am I going to sit by, my best friend or my husband? So I wanted to sit by my husband and be across from you. But then... I apparently picked the wrong seat for one of you because one of you had your back to the restaurant. That was the first one. Oh, and you both are the worst backseat drivers.
Horrible.
So Justin was driving and you were in the back seat and she was grabbing on for dear life.
Number one, I'm never in the back seat. I'm just not used to it. Number two, if I'm in the back seat, I need to check your blind spot for you. And but it's funny because he understood why I think I said, "Oh Jesus," several times.
And you both think you've had COVID at least 150 times in the last 12
and which
months.
Neither one of us has been diagnosed with it ever.
Even this morning, my husband's I have a little congestion, bless his heart, and I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah. There's we have some other persnickety too. I can't think of what it is right now, but we've got, I'm like, you are married.
Several, and it's pretty funny.
To a guy and your best friend, and we're, you keep us grounded, and yet we drive you crazy.
Well,
Why are you still with all of us?
I love you all very much. So that's our, it's right. You bring the fun. So that was our recap of the last week.
Last several days, yeah.
As we get back to dial into what
Yes.
the show topic is today, we're working on a theme of big business. So the beginning part of 2022. So there's a lot of people out there, about 30% more than what's the historical average of people starting their own businesses nowadays. So this pertains to a lot of you guys out there.
Yeah.
And so we thought we'd spend a few weeks on this topic. And I actually wanted to start today with a pretty interesting statistic is that, because we talked last week of the importance of doing due diligence on the front end and how that will help increase your chances of making it long term. Yep. So 20% of businesses fail in the first 2 years.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was 3, but first 2?
2.
Oh, wow.
45. These actually get more concerning. 45% fail during the first 5 years.
Wow.
And 65% fail during the first 10 years.
Are we going to talk about why they fail?
Well, it didn't really. Well, I'm sure there's a myriad of reasons why. I think we'll give our best guess and try to. And the topics we focus on is probably what we see continuously. But so at the end of the day, only 25% of businesses make it past 15 years.
Really?
Which kind of surprised me. I thought it would be a little bit higher than that.
Huh.
So hence, this show is very valuable, whether we realized it or not.
You know what would be interesting to find out about that in those statistics would be if the same business owner had to shut down a business but relaunches a new one because they have maybe more knowledge now. They have a better idea.
Well, and I think a lot of people have if you're an entrepreneur, you have it in your blood. You can't really go back to a 9-to-5 job. So you're always looking at something. And I know a lot of systemic entrepreneurs that also they build a business, they sell it. They build a business, they sell it. You know, so they're constantly working on something too. That's not a failure.
That's not a failure.
So I thought that was interesting in a way to start the show. So last week, just to remind everybody, and if you haven't tuned in, go ahead, is we worked through kind of the first subheading of this big business topic is refining your idea. So coming to the table with an idea and identifying your why you want to do it, who you're going to target, kind of who is your primary clientele or customers that you want to go after, and how to choose a legal business name. So that's what we focused on last time. So today we're going to shift.
And the importance of trademarking that. You brought up some really great points last week about trademarking from the very beginning. So that could save you some massive headaches. It kind of saves your name from being utilized by other people who might not do as well of a job as you, and allows you to keep your branding consistent over time because you own that trademark. You own that name outright. And it's worth finding a trademark attorney, in my opinion, because they're the ones that really can do the in-depth search on a federal, national level. So that's what we spent time last week. So tune in. So go back and listen.
But today we're going to do the second part of this, of these multiple steps. And we're going to focus a little bit on a business plan, which we mentioned last week is usually the tripping step over. People kind of lose their mojo because when you just mention a business plan, they're like, snooze. Like, really?
I already did.
You know, and so I was even, preparing for today's show, I was downloading. There's a lot of great free templates I found online, actually, that I really like.
Oh, we should tell people where to find those.
But like, for instance, the template, I didn't print every page, but it's 26 pages long.
Ooh.
Up there.
I was thinking this was a hot one-pager.
It's a thorough. We're just going to tackle the executive summary today.
Oh, okay.
Of just what is a business plan and kind of what things should you be thinking about when you are working on one.
Yeah.
When I got my MBA several years ago, and that was something we had to focus on as kind of our final thesis is writing a business plan and a proposition of what we wanted to do, and it is intimidating. And not all businesses have to have a 26-page filled out business plan. So, if feels too overwhelming for you, I don't want it to, make you stumble to the point you give up. But it's at least good to look at some of the main headings so that you can spend some time thinking and planning around and having a game plan around more specifics in what you want to do, because you're going to have to need this information sooner or later, especially as your business grows and matures. I mean, if you want to make it to the 15-year mark, I guarantee those people have all 26 pages figured out, and maybe not on day one, but they get there.
So number one, a business plan can evolve.
Absolutely.
Over time. You need to have some foundation before you kick off.
I go back to my business plans from the companies I've owned for over 10 years, just to continue to make tweaks. And it's kind of fun to go back of what I thought we were going to be doing and how kind of it changed or matured over time or took on. We talked about last week about, just being flexible and taking where it ebbs and flows. The market changes year over year, demands change. Who would have ever guessed what COVID would have brought in terms of opportunity of servicing, a global audience of online shoppers, for instance, that changed a lot.
Well, the adaptation of the food delivery industry, that was a big change. That was the top one as far as new businesses being started in 20 and 2021. Yep. Okay, so I have a question. Okay, so would you advise, so at least in things that we've talked about, an experience of just people that I know, same people that you know, certain personality types, and I would say a lot of times a P in Myers-Briggs, which let's not get caught up on what a P is.
Which we do have a show.
We do have a show.
In 2021.
We have a show based on that. We have a show.
June or July that we went through Myers-Briggs, so go tune in if you need to. But yes,
so tune into that. But wouldn't you say a P in Myers-Briggs?
Who needs more open-ended,
and we know somebody we know and love. Strong P.
Yes, and a strong entrepreneur.
Yes, which I was about to say, there's a lot of correlation with P's and strong entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Entrepreneurs. This could be more, this piece of a business plan would be extremely difficult. Could be extremely difficult.
Detailed oriented.
Can you hire someone or can you partner with somebody to help you do a business plan? Because that's not you're a J. I'm just calling it out. You're a J. So this wasn't as challenging maybe for you as it would be for somebody, for some P's, some P Myers-Briggs out there.
Yeah, that's right.
So you can just hire someone, or do you need to have to?
Or find a friend who has done this before. It's always good to always start with your free network, because you can hire anybody for anything, right? But part of the business plan is figuring out, assessing your finances, where is your money going to come from. So sometimes you need to just, try to find as much free help at the beginning as you can, especially when you haven't earned anything yet. Everything that you're doing right now is out of your own pocket.
Sure.
And so, and there's a lot of folks that, it's part of their ministry or part of their, calling that they want to invest in either the younger generation or women or what have you. I meet with a lot of specifically women who want to start something. No, I've started something, and we'll have coffee, and I'll at least, step by step, just giving a few things to think about of what they want to do and what the next step is. So it doesn't have to be, again, the 26 pages that makes them feel too overwhelmed. But so I think, find someone with an MBA, find someone that has been in business for
maybe a mentor
over 5 years,
of some
like a mentor
kind,
of sorts. And I think that will help a lot, because to your point, sometimes this gets so detailed and sometimes I think some businesses never get off the ground because you get too detailed in the minutia where you never execute what you're developing. And so there's a balance there, and also passion. People have passion and callings. So you're going to have wind in your sails and help along the way that doesn't come from a business plan per se, that comes from open doors or favor or, your network or, a myriad of things. So you don't want to lose your chutzpah in the process.
Well, if I started writing 26-page business plan, I'd write myself right out of that business. I'd write myself right out of it. Never mind. That would be me.
For sure. Because some of the, that saying of the devil's in the details, sometimes you get so overwhelmed, you're like, forget it.
Blasted devil. Never mind. Next.
And I'm always cautious of who I ask for help in this, because I found some people who mean well, but when you ask them to help with that, they get so, what are you going to do about this? Well, what are you going to do about this?
She has never asked me for help to do this, just so you know, because I'm that girl. Wait a minute, Shannon. Have you thought about this? Yeah.
Where by the end of that conversation, you're just like, forget it.
I'm free, but I'm not good at it.
You're not one of those people.
It's
but
not
they
you.
do exist. So it's that balance of finding, you need to find for yourself, what's the point? Why are you wanting to do this? Mm-hmm. And because it's a business, one of those what's the points is it has to make money. You're not doing this pro bono. There's very few businesses out there who do things pro bono. And even in the nonprofit space, you have to raise or make enough money to, retire your expense account at the end of the year, so you zero out at the end of the year, but you have to pay staff or pay for what have you,
Because they're not working for free.
No one's working for free. And so, you have to determine what's the point? Because a lot of mistakes, I think, are made by new businesses because they rush into things without necessarily like pondering the aspects of the business. And that's what the business plan does. It helps you at least start to formalize some of these aspects. Now, you don't have to, and you're not going to, no matter how long you work on your business plan, you're not going to uncover every risk you might encounter or every devil you might encounter along the way. Yeah. That's just part of it. And you think on your feet and you solve problems on your feet. We solve problems every day in the businesses we work on together.
So what do you think are some of the most, maybe it's I'm asking something I know nothing about. Yep. So what if there was like the top 3, the top 4, something that the most important pieces in a business plan you need to focus on? What would those be if a listener out there is going, okay, great, I hear this. Can you give me like a quick little bullet list, top
absolutely.
4 maybe?
I think 2 things, and then we'll go into some of the topics of kind of, again, the broad strokes of a bit, so that you all know out there at least what a business plan is. Not all 26 pages, but the five subheadings, whatever. Yeah. But I think 2 of the most important parts of a business plan is the market research part. Who can potentially buy your service or product? So there's a lot of, there's consulting companies who specialize in this. They cost a lot of money. You can do a lot of your own research now online, through Google, through Dun & Bradstreet, through these companies who've developed over time to show you in your area, in your geographic territory, what kind of people are in your industry, An example, even that we do this at Lighthouse, is market research. We know, because we work with companies that help us figure out, okay, who lives, in a 10-mile radius, 20-mile radius from our office. We can even pare it down. How many of those people have a certain amount of assets that need a financial planner? Okay. And that's who we focus on to target for mailings or dinner workshops or college classes or the different things that we're doing out there for our outreach. But that starts with market research. So I still have to do this every day at Lighthouse and different firms that I run. And so, because it helps you kind of gain this competitive analysis to better understand what's the opportunities and what are the limitations in my market. Okay. And you have to define what your market is.
So that's part of knowing your demographic, right?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. We have clients all over the country, but because we're in Colorado, we have a higher concentration of business clients and wealth management clients in Colorado. But, there's some companies that don't even have an office of brick and mortar, so they're only an online presence. So if that's you, your demographic is going to look a lot different. So it's very specialized to what you're going to do. So I think that market research is top on my list. Top priority. Okay. Because it helps with what's the point. Is there even a market?
Sure. Because if there's not a market, then you're not going to make any money.
Totally.
Yeah.
The second thing is knowing what your startup costs are going to be and trying to raise enough capital, which is cash, in the beginning so that you have some kind of runway. No one is going to succeed under a gun of 30 days. You know what I mean? Like if you don't build like a 6 month, it'd be great to have a year worth of operating capital in cash when you start so that you don't feel that pressure of, oh my gosh, if I don't start selling things in the next month, I'm going to be one of those 20% that's out of business. Yeah. So the more that you can raise cash and know what your financial needs are, the better. And we'll get into that. And because that's such an important topic, we're actually going to put that to next week's show because we're going to actually spend some time there because there's different ways of raising capital that people might be familiar with and some ways that you might not have heard of before. So we're going to focus on that next week. But the third and final, I think, big tidbit about a business plan is considering what your exit strategy is going to be. So almost like starting with the end in mind. You've heard that saying before. Think about, when you board an airplane, what's the first thing they tell you? If there's a problem, your emergency, how are you going to exit the plane? And it's similar to that. Where do you want this business to go? What's your ultimate goal? We know a lot of our business clients, they built businesses just to be income businesses, just to get a paycheck, to do what they love, and that is it. But the majority of clients that I think have built something with really good longevity is something that they can sell, something that maybe they can pass on to their family members or to their children. Something that they can monetarily cash out when they're ready to retire that can help fund their retirement. Because as we know, a lot of business owners and you guys, who own your own businesses out there might run into this. You're so busy running your business. It's really hard, especially in this little niche, that it's hard to plan your own retirement when you're running a business because you are just always running things. You're not taking necessarily as much disciplined time
to look forward,
nope. To set up that 401k, to set up that IRA, to do things that if you're at a corporate big company, they don't force you to, but they make it very easy and simple. It's just a matter of like signing up online. This is different when you're a business owner. So the value of selling your business is what most business owners will live off of when they're ready to retire. But the more that you can plan for that at the beginning, because you want it. But why? Because you want to make something that someone else is going to want.
Well, you want to create a legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you want to try to make similar to, we've all bought houses or, looked at apartments or what, we all have residences out there of some kind. How much do we like turnkey, right? Someone who's gone before us doing the hard work, doing the remodels, doing the painting, doing all of the things where we can just kind of,
Well, I think that's you and me. There are some people out
go
there that
in.
love
I know.
that, like,
I mean, we've owned both like
thing.
fixer-uppers. And we all know if you've had a fixer-upper,
I'm never going to be in that
heartache
game.
and headache that is. But
turnkey.
every fixer-upper we've done, we have made it turnkey. Where and a lot of friends have bought our house. Like and you're one of them actually. You guys made some great improvements. But some of our homes that we've sold have been so turnkey. They're the same. Like there's not any huge improvements,
right?
Because we were with the end in mind. Went into a property knowing that this was not going to be our house long term. What can we do to make it turnkey for the next people? And every single house that we have, and yours wasn't a fixer-upper. I mean, you still live in my husband's favorite house we've ever owned.
I do. I do. Every time we talk about selling it, he's like, whoa, wait a minute. First right of refusal.
But every fixer-upper we have sold over the past 10 years, the original buyers are still there, which to me means like we did something right where they don't want to move, So even when you're forming your own business, I think it's important with the end in mind. What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to be? What do you want to do with it at the end? So that's kind of what a business plan can help walk you through. So those are the top 3. So that's a great question of tidbits.
So wait, market research. Let's recap. Market
research, assessing your financial needs.
Getting operating capital.
Yep.
You need cash.
Yep.
And exit strategy.
Yes, an exit strategy. So those are the 3 tidbits. Now, what I want to do in today's show before we wrap up, which we only have a few more minutes.
By the way, I did not like your airplane analogy.
When
because when I get in an airplane and they start telling me before I've even taken off where I can exit, I'm like, whoa. No, just make sure it lands.
I know.
Don't tell me where.
Well,
I know they have
to.
Don't. No, that's actually my least favorite part.
I'm the one flying tomorrow, not you.
When I'm on the plane, I love it that at least I get my ground beverage before they start that talk. I got my ground beverage.
That was pre-COVID. You haven't flown in the COVID.
And that's why I know I'm not.
Because that does not come anymore.
When they're like, would you like to sit here for the exit? I'm like, no. I'm responsible for other human lives on this. I'm not going
to be thinking clearly if the plane requires the exit strategy to be executed.
You don't want me to be in this row, ladies.
You never sign up for the exit row.
Do you know what rows I sign up for? No, and it's not the exit row.
I know.
No,
that's so funny.
I know. It's why when you said that analogy, my heart started just a little bit palpitate.
I know. Well, and I have way too many relatives who are flight attendants and pilots.
Yeah.
And they try to they think they are helping me by telling me what to look out for or how many dings mean trouble. And now that I know those things, and I won't share them on air because they mess with my mind.
Don't share them off air either.
Now I'm always like, are the
I would
flight
overthink
attendants
that.
nervous? How many dings was that?
The dings over the.
Yep.
I hope none of our listeners are flying anytime soon.
I'm flying tomorrow. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I see. That would be bad for me because I would overanalyze everything going on that plane.
I always just study the flight attendants' faces. If they're nervous, then
they're paid to look stoic, though.
I know, but they're still human. So if their paycheck is still covering their face, I feel good about it. If their paycheck is not paying them for that level of turbulence and they're nervous,
this is why
I get really.
This is why I like to fly in places where on the plane where I can see them when they sit in their little chair. That's their only little private time.
Yeah,
that's when you see their face. That's when you know what's going on. When that turbulence hits and they look scared, that's when I know we're in trouble. Okay, no, it's
Okay,
all
back
great.
to the
Flying's
business
great.
plan.
Yep,
Yes.
sorry.
Traveling is great, and I'm doing it tomorrow, and it'll all be fine.
It's going to be great.
Yes, it will be great. So as we talk, again, there's so many templates that you can find for free online. So you don't have to pay. You shouldn't have to pay for a template if you wanted at least a rough sketch out of what a business can be. And here's some just items as we wrap up today. When you look at a business plan, what the things that it's going to walk you through, and it's just a help like thinking exercise, planning exercise is all a business plan is it starts with the objective of what you want to provide as your main business objective. What's the idea of your company? Within 2 or 3 brief sentences, which is really hard to do, is to kind of boil it down to 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah.
And then, so that's kind of the executive objective. And then it goes into products and services. So kind of summarizing the problem you're going to be solving for consumers. How do your products or services serve as a solution for, what you're trying to accomplish? Who's your target market? You briefly go through who your ideal customers and what's your market segment, where are you selling this? What kind of, geographic territory are you looking at? And then it goes into a little bit more of the nitty gritty. What's your competitive analysis, that market research? What markets are you looking at? Who are your main competitors? That's
I was
really
about to ask,
good
isn't that one of the
research,
most important things you should know is who?
We've all watched Shark Tank,
Yeah.
right? So they do a great job of this because one of the things the sharks always go after them for is, hey, there's already 5 successful businesses in the same genre that you're trying to capture. What's going to make you different?
Yeah.
And so that gives a lot of good thoughts because I think a lot of businesses fail because they are going into such a saturated market. They're just white noise at that point. And then it goes into what's your marketing plan, high level, but what channels are you going to use? Are you going to start commercials? Are you going to be on the TV? We all know those lovely, used car commercials that we see that are so bad.
They're not
but they're,
the best.
They bring humor. But are you doing commercials? Are you doing print? Are you doing mailers? What kind of marketing do you want to do? What's your sales process? What's your sales plan? Well, you need one, kind of give an overview in your business plan of how you're going to sell whatever you're creating. Forecasts. So then it goes into kind of what are the financial targets? What are you forecasting for your first year? What are your long-term sales goals? How do you intend to raise money for your business? If you're, and we'll talk more about this next week, if you're going for what's called VC, venture capitalist money, or you're looking for investors, you better have a pretty sound business plan because that's what they're going to use to see if you are worth.
They're not going to listen to you otherwise. Right. Because you haven't
So
even done
when
your
you
due
have
diligence.
to raise other people's
Money,
funds,
yeah.
it's a whole different ballgame. And this, every single detail of a 26 page will actually probably be longer than that because they will scrutinize every detail because they're giving you cash and they expect a return on that cash. Right. What are your budget requirements? What are your allocations? How many employees are you going to need? How many employees are going to be involved long term? What are your locations? What technology and equipment are you going to require? Which are tend to be high spend.
High price tag. A lot of times,
do you just need a laptop, or are you going to have to,
a whole software system,
software server system, what have you?
Right.
And then finally, what key performance indicators? What KPIs is what you hear them abbreviated many times, but what key metrics will you use to measure your success of your business performance? So what kind of things? So, we tend to look a lot at clients' P&Ls. I review my own P&Ls every month.
Profit and loss.
Yep. Profit and loss, net income. What are we taking home at the end of the day? What kind of loans do we have? What's our, you can gross revenue. We have a lot of clients that have great gross revenue. They might earn $12 million a year.
Right.
But what are, after all of the expenses, because a penny saved is a penny earned. Right. After all those expenses, they might only be bringing home 3% of that, 5% of that. And so that makes a huge difference. So again, we wanted just to take it high level today to at least introduce the concept of a business plan. We'll deep dive next week, I think, in some of those key areas that we mentioned, finances being one of them. Because if you're going to tackle this, I just want to make sure that as many of you are equipped as much as possible. We're here to equip. We're here to introduce concepts. We're here to get you thinking.
Right.
And honestly, we're here at any point in time where if you're ready to take that next step, you go to our website, copytalkpodcast.com. You click the contact us page. It comes to us and we'll get you to the right resources. That's why we started this show, as we mention every show.
Well,
so,
and I don't want anybody, so if you're listening and you've had the idea of starting your own business, a lot of what you just walked through may sound overwhelming. Keep in mind, some of that's not going to apply to you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, you may not have employees. Mm-hmm. You may not need a large software system. You may not need, but it's good to...
If you're starting a food truck, you probably need a cash register or a Square app on your phone.
Or something.
And that's about it.
You might need minor technology, upgrades to whatever you probably already own in order to process payment, et cetera. But it's good to at least have those things in mind to check off, okay, no, that doesn't apply to me. So don't be overwhelmed by all of those things. Yes. Because only 3 or 4 may be what you need to really hone in and focus on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So where can people find us?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So our website, as always, copytalkpodcast.com. Check out our resources link, which is still developing. And then, of course, contact us if you have... There's previous shows are also listed on our website, right? Where they can access previous shows.
That's
we referenced
Myers-Briggs
earlier.
Today.
Yep, we're at 52 last week. Would be good for you to listen to leading into this week if you didn't catch that yet. And then, of course, we have our...
And our viewership has tripled since October.
Oh, you sent me that email. Yeah, that's awesome.
So
that's so exciting. Thank you. That means you're sharing.
So,
we appreciate that. Obviously, our Instagram, Copy Talk Podcast. Leave us a message. Hashtag...
You get to think of it.
Oh my gosh, I don't think well on the spot. I hate it when she does that. Hashtag. This, you're so good at this. Hashtag.
Well, I was gonna think of like something about flying, because that was.
I don't know. I don't think you want any of that. I don't know. It can be a hashtag TBT. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll do.
Comment on My
Thursday.
Precious Donkeys.
That's
You're
right.
welcome to.
There you go.
Go and check out My Precious Donkeys.
Right.
And then of course our favorite.
YouTube.
So much better. YouTube, subscribe, share with your friends. When we share pictures of funny T-shirts on this show, you can only see us if you're on YouTube.
That's right. They had your sparkle hat last week. We got the T-shirts this week. Tune in so you can see the visual behind this.
You want to see all the shenanigans that go on in this studio.
Well, we will see everyone next week. Thanks for your time.
Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
Great day.
This is intended for informational purposes only and not to be used as a primary basis for investment decisions. Consult your financial professional before making investment decisions. Shannon Ross is a registered representative and MBA of Lighthouse Financial. Lighthouse Financial offers securities and advisory services through Cambridge Investment Research Advisories Incorporated, member FINRA and SIPC. Shannon is CEO and managing financial partner of Lighthouse Financial. Cambridge and Lighthouse Financial are not affiliated.